Rivals Radio.
Welcome back to Rivals Radio here on Rivals Broadcast Network. It is Thursday, really critical point in the season. And today we are diving deep, pulling info straight from league front office sources. We're doing a full deep dive into the College Series Week 11 recap, looking at those updated CFP rankings, the Heisman race, which had a big shakeup, and setting the stage for what looks like a massive Week 12.
Yeah, Week 11 felt less like a total scramble and more like things sorting themselves out. You know, the top teams kind of dug in, held their ground, which means those bubble teams, they had to make some big moves just to stay in the conversation. So our goal here is simple. Give you the key storylines, the context behind the scores, fast.
Okay, let's get right into it then, starting with the results from Week 11. Monday and Tuesday had some really important games.
Yeah, first up Monday night, Maryland at number 13, Indiana. Maryland had like a decent win streak going, but the Hoosiers defense just neutralized them completely. Indiana wins 41-20. But the real takeaway, the thing sources pointed out, wasn't just the win itself, it was Indiana's QB, Ben Linder, how he handled the pressure. Made some really smart decisions, accurate throws against the blitz. You could almost see his draft stock going up.
Right, that efficiency under fire, that's what scouts look for. But then the late game Monday, number 24, Michigan State at number 5, Michigan. That one wasn't exactly a nail-biter.
No, not at all. A crushing 55-13 win for Michigan. And what stood out was, it wasn't just the offense, right? Their defense totally shut down the Spartans' run game, like under 50 yards total for their backs. That's complimentary football, dominating both sides.
Yeah, we saw more defense down in Tallahassee on Tuesday.
Absolutely. NC State at number 18, Florida State. FSU's defense was just a clinic. They won 44-10. That D coordinator is really earning his paycheck. Then Wednesday, the Big Ten battle.
Yeah.
Number 22, Iowa at number 9, Ohio State.
Right, Ohio State gets the win, 34-31. But seesaw battle feels like an understatement for that one. It was gritty.
It really was. Felt like a gut check for the Buckeyes. Iowa kind of controlled the middle of the game, the pace. But Ohio State, they found ways to get pressure late, scored quickly when they absolutely had to. Wasn't pretty, maybe, but those tough wins. The CFP committee notices those. Thursday night, we also had California at number 11, UCLA.
Ah, yes, the connection everyone was waiting for with the Bruins finally showed up.
Exactly. Gooden, the quarterback, and Breedlove, the receiver. They clicked, hit a few deep balls early, really sparked things. UCLA wins 31-17. If those two keep that up, UCLA becomes a very dangerous team in the Pac-12. And yeah, we should mention the less competitive games. Number 3, Notre Dame just rolled Navy 67-0.
Yeah. Hard to take much away from that other than they handle business, keeps that perception strong around the Irish.
Yeah.
What about South Carolina at Georgia? Georgia needed a good showing there.
And they got it, a 41-3 domination. But the story there really was the young talent stepping up. Their running back, Stephen Smith, 185 yards rushing. For a team just cracking the rankings, seeing a player do that this late, that's a huge time they're peaking at the right time.
Okay, so a lot of the top teams held serve, basically, which leads us right into the CFP rankings for Week 12. Who's holding steady at the top, and are they really locked in?
Well, the top 5 is exactly the same. Frozen. Texas number 1, SMU 2, Notre Dame 3, Oklahoma State 4, and Michigan still at 5. Zero change. But, while the wins are there, you got to look at the schedule. Texas and SMU maybe haven't faced the same defensive tests that Michigan or Ohio State have recently. Could they be maybe a bit too comfortable?
That's a great point. Comfort can definitely lead to a slip-up later. Outside that top 5, where did we see the most significant moves?
Number 6, North Carolina moved up 1 spot. They're definitely putting pressure on that bubble. And number 16, Florida State jumped 2 spots. That's almost entirely because of that defensive performance against NC State. Defense is getting rewarded right now, clearly.
And the newcomers. 4 teams fought their way into the top 25 this week. That's pretty late in the season.
Yeah, quite a bit of turn down there. Ole Miss comes in at 21, Pittsburgh at 22. Georgia gets in at 24 after that big win, and TCU just squeaks in at number 25. For those teams, there's zero room for error now. Every game is basically a playoff game.
Absolutely. Got to validate that ranking immediately. Let's shift to the individual players who really stood out in Week 11. Defense first.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Week. That'd be George Killebrew. Cornerback, Ohio State. I mean, look at the stats. 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, a pass breakup, and one of those picks was a pick 6. In a 3-point win over Iowa, that touchdown was everything. Huge performance when it mattered most.
Game defining is right. Wow. Okay, offense. We saw some crazy receiver numbers. Tevin Daly from Arkansas.
Yeah, just massive numbers. 9 catches, 271 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. I mean, that's just unreal production for one game in that system. Showed he can do it all, stretch the field, win jump balls, red zone threat. Pro scouts are going to wear out the tape on that one.
Speaking of scouts,
Yeah.
the Heisman race got completely turned upside down. New number 1.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. Keon Hunter, the Michigan halfback, he's jumped to the number 1 spot. Neo Judkins from FSU drops to number 2. Duke Smoot, Ohio State, still number 3. And the thinking here seems to be about the quality of the performance, right? Hunter had that huge game against Michigan State. Rivalry game, spotlight, over 150 yards, 2 scores. That narrative, that momentum, seems to have pushed him past Judkins, even though Judkins still leads in total yards.
So a big performance in a big game trumps the season-long stats, for now at least.
Exactly. Quality over quantity at this exact moment. And look who else is surging. Mason Bigsby, Oklahoma's halfback. He's now number 4. Coming on strong late in the year. That matters.
Let's put some numbers to that Heisman flip. You mentioned Judkins still leads in rushing yards.
He does, 1,939 yards. But Hunter's right there with 1,615. And crucially, they're now tied for the rushing TD lead, 24 each. So that rivalry game performance from Hunter kind of acts like the tiebreaker in voters' minds, you know? And Bigsby, he's now up to 1,361 yards and 18 touchdowns. Definitely surging.
Okay, passing game leaders. Akbar still on top for yards.
Yep, Akbar from Memphis, 4,119 yards. And maybe even more important for his draft stock, league low 2 interceptions. That's incredible efficiency. Meanwhile, Lord from Arkansas leads with 37 touchdown passes.
Low picks, high yards. Yeah, that's the dream combo for scouts.
Absolutely. Screams high draft pick. But let's not forget the defensive stat leaders, because this ties right into the pro league talk. That sack race is intense. Bubba Williams from FSU has 20.5 sacks, 30 TFLs. But Rizzo from Ohio State, right behind him, 18.5 sacks, 28 TFLs.
Those are just monster numbers, which, yeah, brings us perfectly to that pro league connection.
Guys like that, elite pass rushers, they're exactly what pro league teams are looking for. They're watching very closely.
And word from the pro league front offices is that trade talks are really heating up this week. Teams are trying to figure out their needs before year end. We should have more specifics next week. But here's something really interesting for you, the listener, a chance to get involved. If you're listening right now and you think, hey, I could run an organization, you know, you've got the vision, the strategy, reach out. Seriously, the league board members are actually interviewing for a pro league GM position right now. This is a real shot to go from analyzing the game to actually shaping it.
That's incredible. A real chance to put your knowledge to the test, move from the armchair GM spot to the real thing. And knowing this college talent pool inside out, that's probably your biggest advantage going into an interview like that.
Exactly. And speaking of talent, for everyone watching that pipeline, we've got confirmation, the official draft order, and Oscar Lewis's big mock draft. They're dropping very soon, so you'll see exactly where guys like Killebrew, Linder, those pass rushers we talked about, where they might land.
Yeah, there's a direct line from a big Week 11 performance to where a guy shows up on that mock draft. The stakes just keep getting higher.
They really do. Okay, let's look ahead. Week 12, some huge rivalry games, high-stakes matchups that will shape the conference championships.
All right, kicking off Tuesday, 8 p.m., NC State travels to number 3 Notre Dame after that 67-0 game last week. Can NC State even challenge them? For Notre Dame, it's about focus. Prove last week wasn't a fluke of scheduling. And Wednesday, 8 p.m., huge rivalry. Number 11, UCLA at number 7, USC. Massive implications for the Pac-12 and a real test for that UCLA offense we mentioned. Can they do it against USC's D?
Thursday night, we get a key SEC battle too.
Right. Number 17, Texas A&M at South Carolina, 8 p.m. Keep an eye on A&M's QB, Banks, over 3,600 yards passing. Can he stay efficient against a South Carolina team that's going to be desperate? If A&M slips up here, their ranking pretty much evaporates. Then Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Big top 10 matchup. Number 8, Clemson at number 6, North Carolina.
Wow. Okay, that's massive for the ACC title picture.
Yeah.
And it keeps the winner alive as a potential CFP dark horse, right?
Definitely. Win that game. And the selection committee absolutely has to pay attention.
The main event, the one everyone's circling, the game of the week. That defines Week 12.
No question. Saturday night, 8 p.m., number 4, Oklahoma State travels to Austin to face number 1, Texas. Doesn't get much bigger than that. Texas wins, they probably lock up their spot. Oklahoma State pulls off the upset. Total chaos in the top 4. This game tells us who's really ready for a national championship run.
And make sure you know where you're watching, folks. The commentary team for that one. The legends, Skip Lloyd and Oscar Lewis. Just hearing them call a game like this is worth tuning in for.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, looking at this whole week, maybe the biggest pressure isn't even on the top 5. It's on those new teams in the rankings. Ole Miss, Pitt, Georgia, TCU. They fought hard to get into the top 25, but they have zero margin for error now. They have to prove they belong before bowl eligibility locks up soon. One loss, and they're probably gone.
That's the perfect thought to end on. Pressure's building, benches are getting shorter, and the games are getting bigger. Thanks for tuning in, Rivals Nation. Don't miss any of the action this week.
Yeah, thanks for joining our deep dive.
For Rivals Radio, thank you.
It's Rivals Radio.